All right. Hi, Holly.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever in the world that you are. We are talking today to Holly Hayes, a friend of mine, who is an energetics mindset expert. And so, Holly, can you tell us a little bit more about what that actually means for those people that aren't
Mhm.
familiar with those terms?
Yes, there's a lot of buzzwords around at the moment, and I think manifestation is another one which I do help my clients with, and improving their mindset and working on their unique energy. So basically, anyone who is feeling stuck in a rut, can't get out of their own way, everything is energy, and that energy tends to get stagnant or get stuck in our body somewhere. So when we work on the energetic level, being the body, and then when we work on your mind and get rid of your limiting beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves and the way that we trap ourselves to the past, when we're releasing it from both ends, then we can really manifest the life of our dreams.
Mm.
So that's the type of work that I do. Um,
Yeah,
as I said,
that's fascinating. That's super
yeah,
fascinating. Yeah.
it's quite different. It's very unique, but it's changed my life. So I kind of I've come from the beauty industry. I'm an esthetician and I have been for 15 years. And I've always been in training and development. And I think going on a journey, a personal journey as well, and we'll talk about that today, as well as the pandemic, which changed the lives of many people, the Great Resignation. I was one of those people. And I decided to leave that 15-year career behind and work on myself because I didn't know what was next. And I enrolled in a lot of courses and I got addicted to self help, like many of us do,
Yeah.
and just kept going and going. And then I thought, well, this actually has been really helpful. And I've got all this knowledge in my mind, but what do I do with that? Like, I'm a teacher, I'm a trainer.
Mm.
Am I doing people an injustice by just keeping it to myself or just in my friendship circles? So that's kind of how that part came about, but we'll get a little bit more deeper into it and what it actually means and proof and evidence.
No, for sure, for sure. But what I was wondering, and yeah, we all know about the great resignation. I think that's touched a lot of people.
Mm.
But so you could have chosen any field. You could have chosen to do anything. And I know that you mentioned self-help, and we're all kind of it's a rabbit hole you can go down.
Yes.
But what particularly interested you about this realm, I guess, of personal development and self help and whatnot? Like, what led you to this?
Yeah. So I'm sure many people can relate to this, and I am nervous to even talk about it, to be honest. So facing fear is like fear is what will keep us stuck. But also, if you just get that smidge outside your comfort zone, is where the growth can happen. So almost 6 years ago now, I had a relationship breakdown, which is why I'm speaking to you
Yeah.
and your community. Um, that I was dealing with a narcissist. I was in a relationship with a narcissist. And naive me at that time did not even know the definition of the word. What is a narcissist? Until someone said to me, I think he sounds like a narcissist. And I was like, didn't want to be like, what does that mean? I secretly went to Google and I went down another rabbit hole at that point. But so 6 years ago, I went through that relationship breakdown. And like many of you, I'm sure you can relate, when your relationship is breaking down, all you do is try and throw yourself into other things that keep you distracted. So I threw myself into work and I kept very distracted. And, all these opportunities kept coming, and I was getting really good at work, even though every other area of my life was breaking down, including my health at that time. And I don't know how you can hold it together, but sometimes you just can.
And stress is a killer. It really is.
It is, yes. Um, so all these opportunities started to come my way, and the opportunity came up to move to Canada for business opportunities. And because I was running away from the relationship and running away from myself and running away from the addiction to the narcissist, which I will definitely speak on today, that seemed like the best possible thing to do. So before that, my life before meeting this person, I was very much into The Secret, the law of attraction. That was my first point of contact with manifestation back in, I think, 2006 or something when that
It's
came
been
out.
around for a while. Yeah.
Long time ago. So, and I manifested many things. I manifested my dream job, which was, traveling around the world. I manifested property, the opportunity to buy a home at a ridiculous price without a deposit, like crazy stuff. Manifested travel, opportunities, cars, meeting people, experiences, you name it, I had it, right? Then I went into this relationship and then I forgot everything because I forgot who I was. And I started to blame myself and I started to think I'm crazy because that's how they make you feel. And I started to think, oh, I'm crazy because of the other things that have happened to me in the past. And they use your insecurities against you. They find out everything that makes you tick and then they throw it back in your face.
Yeah, they're good psychologists, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I lost touch with all of that. And then, as I said, fast forward, escaping to Canada, running away to Canada from my problems, throwing myself into work. And then suddenly the world stops. And I'm like, I'm not fulfilled in this career anymore. Like, what am I doing? And so I actually quit with 3 days notice. A lifetime career that I just made a snap
No
decision.
plan B. No plan
No
B.
plan B. At Christmas time, I said, I will not be back. I was a contractor at that time, so I didn't have to give notice. I just said, I will not be back January 1st, 2021.
That's wild,
That's it.
Holly. That's very brave. That's very
It
brave.
was. And everyone told me, you're crazy. Why would you do this? Like, you're earning good money. They're like, at least just use them for the money and look for another, most people you just use for the money and then you look for another job. And I was like, no, like, I'm done. So I then, as I said, went down the rabbit hole of self-help. So I enrolled myself in many different courses, Tony Robbins, manifestation courses, healing work, chakra stuff. I learned Reiki. I did all of it during 2021.
Yeah.
And that was when I was just like, you know what, take the pressure off yourself again, because I've already come from a manifestation background. I'd already manifested. That's not a word. Manifested.
It is now. It is now.
Manifested. Financial security where I could take that time off work to just be a student again.
Yeah.
So then I started to connect with key points. And yes, the law of attraction is very powerful. You think about it, you can create it. However, back to the stagnant energy, if there's a blockage, not even beliefs, we won't even talk about the mindset stuff just yet, but if there's some sort of blockages in your bodies and your chakras are out of alignment, then your energy is everything. Because whatever we want to create, if we want to create a successful relationship, a successful career, we want to move to a new country, whatever it might be, energy is everything. And the energy that you put into that new venture is what will bring you success, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Time is finite. Energy is infinite. So if you can heal your energy and heal it on the energetic level, anything, and I'm not a healer, but this is very much healing work, because anything that manifests in our body, for example, I'm speaking to the women in this group right now, or that might be watching this. Many women have gut issues or womanly issues in that area, which is really sitting in our sacral chakra. Like, everybody has endometriosis or, problems with their period, their cycle, all of these things, and gut issues. It's all in the same area. It's right there with your sacral chakra. And with the sacral chakra in the Reiki world, it's actually known as the energetic junk drawer. Because as women, what we do is just put it in the drawer. We'll deal with it later. We're busy, as being a single mom, like kids, career.
I know. I've had my fair share of stomach problems. Yeah.
Right. See? So I didn't even know that. So,
Yeah.
I'm just giving examples, but that's exactly where it manifests. So once we can work on the energy side and get our bodies back into order, because when they're out of order, they are in some sort of dis-ease,
Mhm.
disease. So once we can work on that and really clear the energy, then let's talk about, okay, let's go deeper. Let's talk about your mindset. Let's talk about your limiting beliefs. Why are you basing what is in front of you right now on your past? We're
Mhm.
conditioned to do that. And then we remove the conditioning, we reprogram with new beliefs, and ultimately the end result is manifesting the life of your dreams, your dream partner, your dream job, your dream home, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think it was Napoleon Hill that said, whatever the mind can conceive, you can achieve, something like that. So
Yes. Yes.
it's funny because even people that aren't necessarily familiar with the work that you're talking about, I think we've heard it in some fashion where
Yes.
it's like a lot of experts, they're really saying the same thing. They're just looking at it from different perspectives or different angles.
Exactly.
So
And we're
yeah.
all unique. And that's why one teacher, coach, trainer can say the same thing to you 20 times, but if they're not speaking your language, then it may not sink in. So it's going to all these different webinars and lives, and you're hearing the same message, as you said, just it's sometimes slightly different language or presented in a slightly different package, for sure.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thank you. I know, you'd mentioned that you haven't really spoken about this that much. So I really appreciate you sharing this with me and all of the viewers here. And so, kind of going more into, I guess, the mindset, or actually, sorry, to back up. So with
Yep.
the energy work, because I
Yes.
find this really fascinating. I just with the Reiki work, is that something that you do with your clients, or is that something that yeah? So maybe if you could tell me a little bit more, because I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by it.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, every second person's a Reiki healer these days. You can look on,
Yeah.
you can Google it, and everyone does Reiki. But I think the thing about Reiki is it's unique how you can use it. So Reiki is energy healing. Now, how I use it in my practice is I actually call it intuitive body healing, because as I said, when we have stagnant energy and we store our issues somewhere, or our trauma, it gets stuck in the body, and then suddenly we have gut issues, or suddenly you're getting throat, you just can't stop getting throat infections. That's going to indicate to you that something's not right with your throat chakra. Maybe you need to speak up about something.
Mm.
The common areas are the throat and the gut. So basically, I use, on the energy level, we don't even talk during that session. You just relax and meditate. And actually, I do it on Zoom because, again, pandemic changed everything, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm in Australia right now, even though I reside in Vancouver. I'm in Australia right now, so my clients are in Vancouver, and vice versa when
So we're
I'm there.
upside down right now.
It's all upside down and back to front. So I can do it through Zoom, and I'm very successful with that. So what happens is we'll go in on Zoom and we'll go through a meditative process. I'll normally tap into your energy and figure out which chakra I need to work on that day. Guess what? Probably sacral. So we go through a sacral chakra meditation together. I call in the Reiki energy, and then I'm sending it to you and tapping into what's actually going on in your body. And then we release it. And then it doesn't just stop there, because, if it was a one and done, great. Great. And sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's what the tasks that I'll send you with to work on your own at home. And that's called the grow work. It's not homework, but we do need to do some sort of grow work, because it needs to be, it's repetition, right? If we're trying to build a muscle, we don't just go to the gym once and be like, I'm bikini ready now. We have to prepare, and we have to go, and we have to do the repetitions in order to get the results that we want.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating how I guess combining like the meditation with the energy work. I haven't experienced, well, no, Reiki just a little bit, but it's amazing how when you like put your full intention into it, just the things that can come up. And to be honest with you, I up until not that long ago, I wasn't really I wasn't that open-minded like I am today.
Mm.
But having gone through this stuff for me, like it brought up things that I had no idea. I had no
Yep.
idea. And it's just, it
Yeah.
really is kind of stored. And it's funny how maybe your mind kind of forgets things or forgets the traumas or your suppressed things, but like your body doesn't. Like it's in there. So I find
Body
this
keeps
very
the
fascinating.
score.
It
Yep.
sure does. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's true. It's deep conditioning and it's very subconscious.
Mhm.
So we don't know that we're storing all this stuff in the energetic junk drawer, even if we've gone through therapy or we've worked with a coach or we've,
Mhm.
you know, left the partner and moved on to the new relationship. You're still bringing subconsciously some of that stagnant energy that is stored. So wouldn't it be nice if we can just go in, attack it on the energetic level and just release? And
Yeah.
I think that's a very important part rather than just the talk therapy or the mindset work, or it's attacking it from every angle so that you can truly be free. That's what it's all about. It's freeing yourself from your own mind and your own body and the things that aren't serving you anymore.
Yeah, and you mentioned subconscious, and I that's something that I talk about a lot because on my end, I do the hypnotherapy piece as
Yes.
well, and
Yes.
it's one of those things where people can't quite understand, like and I was one of them. I thought I was cursed with all this like really
Mm,
bad luck following me, but it
yeah.
actually wasn't. Like it was all within me. And a
Yeah.
lot of people that don't take breaks in between relationships, if they jump from one to the other, they don't give themselves a chance to figure this stuff out. And you mentioned talk therapy. That's the other thing is, you can talk about it, but sometimes the more you talk about something, depending on what it is, obviously, like if it's not a mental
Mm,
illness,
yeah.
if it's I don't want to say run of the mill, but sort of, if it's the regular issues people deal with, the more you
Mm,
talk about it, complain about it, the more you ingrain it into your subconscious, into your neural pathways. Like you're reinforcing all of that, and
yes.
it's really unless or until you do the work on a subconscious level, that's when things change. And a lot of people
Yes.
don't necessarily realize that. So I'm really happy that you brought that up.
Yes, because that's what happened to me in my personal journey. So I had suppressed the feelings of not only this relationship with the narcissist, but
Mm.
as you said, I kind of went straight from another relationship that ended really badly.
Yeah.
And then thinking that I was looking for the exact opposite of that, which on paper, this guy looked the exact opposite of that. But
Yeah.
in actual fact,
Yeah.
as we know, the
I
narcissist,
know that very well. Yeah.
right? The narcissist actually is a child, like has the mindset of a child, like they've stopped their development at like 7 years of age. So you're actually dealing with a child in a man's body. And so, yeah, so I went from like one terrible relationship breakdown into this other one that I thought was going to be the dream guy. And it was so different. And then it was way worse than the first relationship. So then I come to Canada and keep really busy. And then, I'm like, but I've dealt with that, like I've sat in my pain and I've talked to my friends about it. I'd never actually seen a therapist at that point, but I was just like, no, I've self-managed this.
Yeah.
And then when I went into the manifestation work and hypnosis exercises and meditation exercises and everything that was getting subliminals, getting into my subconscious,
Mhm.
suddenly I'm sitting in the bath one day and I'm like, trying to do another meditation. And I'm like, oh, the message just comes through. Like, you have not released the pain from both of these relationships.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, here we go. Again, you can keep
Mhm.
it somewhat like surface level and think, no, 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 I'm fine and it's all good. But ingrained in my subconscious was those feelings of unworthiness, blame,
Yeah.
and just constantly thinking that I was the problem subconsciously. On the outside, I was very confident,
Yeah.
dating, all of these things, no, like, yeah, I've had some bad luck in my time, but like, that's a reflection on them, not a reflection on me. Subconsciously, I thought it all reflected on me.
Well, the more like the more people repeat their patterns that they don't process or deal with, the
Mm.
more they're reinforcing the issues, their patterns. So it's like a vicious cycle. That's the thing. It
It is.
just gets reinforced more and more. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate to that,
Yes.
even if they won't admit it.
Oh yeah.
I would love everybody to think about it on a deeper level.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a huge thing. And I know that we had talked about previously a little bit about like stigma and shame
Mm.
around all of this.
Oh
So,
yeah.
a lot of people, and I see this, won't necessarily reach out to me publicly, but I get a lot of
Mhm.
people reaching out to me in private saying,
Yeah.
I may not participate, but I'm watching and everything that you do, and I need some help. So, is that something as well that you see quite often with people?
Oh
Is the
yeah.
shame?
Yeah. There's and that's why I think I've gradually, probably over the last 3 months, really started talking about things on my social media other than the highlight reel.
Yeah,
Because, it all looks great when you come out the other side, but you don't understand how many people could be watching that are really in the eye of the storm. And I know when I was in the eye of the storm, what do we spend our time doing? I'm here trying to get high of
absolutely.
anything, of anything that will take me away from my own pain. The fact that, I'm a failure because, these two relationships didn't work out.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? And all you're just living vicariously through the screen.
Mhm.
Now, that's where I actually started my journey, is that I was vicariously on the screen all the time. And then I found a podcast that literally changed my whole life,
Mm.
because it was all about manifestation. And then I went through this course and then I was like, oh my God, this is it. But then I was like, oh, it's not just that. I want to do the energy and the Reiki, and I want to do the reprogramming of the mindset. And so I paired all of these things together from my own journey and my own learning to
Mm.
create the perfect package to help people get out of their own way, no matter what they're going through or what stage of the journey they're on.
Yeah, because it's all you can't. I don't think you can have one without the other. Like
Mm.
it's a full experience really. And so from my experience, I find sometimes when people try to do this on their own, there
Mm.
is like a plethora of information on the internet.
Yes.
And like, where do you start, right? And that's the other thing is, and I was guilty of it at the beginning. I had no idea what I was looking for. All I knew is I wanted to feel better, but I didn't know what I needed. And so you're
Yes.
right. Like it is the internet at its instant gratification and whatnot. So I wish I had worked with someone like yourself,
Mm.
or potentially me or someone else a lot sooner than I did, because I think it would have
Yes.
saved me so much time, a lot of money as well. Because it's funny that you mentioned like all these courses. I'm guilty of it too. It was, $100 here, $50 there, 200 there, like it, but you never actually ended up, or I didn't at least. I never finished anything because I would scroll and then it's like, oh, there's energy, and it just, probably
Yep.
have all the logins right now.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So I like how you tied everything together, how you were
Mhm.
explaining that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because exactly just like you, I don't want someone to go through what I went through of going out there blind. And there's a lot of dodgy stuff on the internet. Like there's a lot of people in this space that are not authentic, that haven't actually healed,
Yeah.
which means if they haven't actually healed, what do? Not deliberately, but
Yeah.
subconsciously project onto you. So, there's people in spaces that, try and convince everybody that they have mother issues, because guess what? They have mother issues.
That's right.
And it's like, I'm hearing these things only just this week. There's this, one website in particular where it's written all over her website, do you have mother issues? And it's like, whoa, okay, well,
Do
all
you have
right.
mother issues?
Right. So who has
Yeah.
mother issues here? And I'm just like, whoa, like this is why I feel like I need to speak up, and we need to do more things like this, because, we're very real people that have really lived through our situations, have done all of the courses and collected all of the research and cut through a lot of the bullshit, to be honest, to package together what we believe in our niche is the best and will get you evidence-based results. This is based on my own life. It took me 6 years. The first thing I say to any of my clients, it will not take you that long. Get that out of your mind. Therapists tell you, oh, this could be a long journey, or,
it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be. That's their training and that's their belief, because that's just talk therapy. We're talking about subconscious reprogramming, energy work, mindset work, coming at it from every angle. That, my entry level course is 8 weeks, and I just did an interview with my one of my clients this morning, and we talked about all the shifts she had in just 8 weeks. We began at the first week, and I said to her, let's get you to the $1 million version of you. And she said to me, do you really believe that I could make $1 million? And I was like, why can't you? Why can't anyone? Really, $1 million isn't really that much money these days, is it? Anyway, so, but again, it's your belief as to like, can I ever be a millionaire? And now, wait till you see me release this interview during the week. She's like, I am a superstar and I will be a millionaire. And I'm like, whoa, week 1, you are not saying things like that, honey. So in 8 weeks, what can we really shift?
Yeah. The other thing that was powerful for me, and it's another friend that I've got who's in a similar space as you, and I remember her saying something about not necessarily like not thinking that you can have something, but if it's around you, it's basically it's in your world. So if I think she calls it's within your vortex, which is something like a term that I thought was a bit like
woo-woo.
Yeah. So, but I don't know what other word to call it really. But anyway, it's in your surroundings. And so there's no lack. Like if somebody is able to make progress, if somebody is able to make that $1 million or find love again, or whatever it is, it's possible for everybody. It's just the way that we think about things. Like that's what the difference is. It's not what we can get, or it's, people might have the same issue, the same problem, but it's how we wrap our minds around it and what we do about it is what gets us the different results. So I'm happy for your client. That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing shift. And I'll give an example on what you just said, because the vortex reminded me of it, because I'm going to give the vacuum example. Yeah. So let's say, we're freshly just coming out of the breakup and we're down and out. So we're on the low vibration. And then when we're in that vibration, all we tend to do is it's the vacuum effect. Everyone around you, you'll automatically pull them into your vacuum, people on that low vibration. So suddenly, your friends will be everybody that hates men or hates their husband or hates their partner or also wants to get divorced, and everyone's just like, we hate men and let's just like boycott relationships and be single independent women, and we're celebrating that. That's the vacuum. And that becomes very energy sucking, because if you're all going through really shitty breakups and divorces, you're not only dealing with your own shit, but you're dealing with all of their shit at the same time, and it's all sucking into your vacuum. Now, there's a flip side to everything. Yeah. Imagine then doing the work, getting through that, and raising up to this vibration. And then suddenly, now there is a period there, there's a transitional period there, and you mentioned it. When you're about to leap into that higher vibration of, the light on the other side, the light at the end of the tunnel, let's say, there's this period where things start to come in your realm that everybody has what you want. So the miserable single person suddenly has everyone on Instagram getting engaged, married, or they've found their second marriage.
100%.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, why them, not me? This is bullshit. I've done the work and they're all so happy and look at them and it's all, shiny, and you just want to tear it down. You start actually unfollowing people or you start muting their stories because you're so triggered by their happiness.
I'm laughing because you've totally described what I did. I
Yes,
was
right.
nice about it, but it was a conversation
Of
in my head.
course. And we don't say this out loud. I'm saying what everyone watching this is thinking. And I know that we all know it's true because we do this.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
then when you actually have done the work and you step back and realize, suddenly I went from everyone around me hating men or hating being in relationships and wanting to be single and complaining about that from down here,
Yeah.
to the bridging period where it's all around you, that everyone's happy and in love and it's wonderful and it's great. When you realize that is in your realm, because it's a vacuum,
It's a good sign.
it's a good sign. You're about to get sucked up here, and then suddenly you're up here, also surrounded by people that are thriving in happy relationships, actually love and respect their partners, and don't just want to sit around and bitch about how lazy and awful they are. And that's the transitional period. So the vacuum effect can work on either end, but you can step yourself out of the vacuum at any time, because once you make a decision to cut off those energy suckers and not engage in that gossip and that low vibrational behavior, you'll get the sign. And remember my words right here, you'll get the sign. Just like we said, everyone around you is really happy and thriving, and you're still thinking, oh, why me? Why not me? Sorry. Reframe that to, oh, I can't wait for my turn. Celebrate them. Comment on their post. I'm so happy for you. Call them. I'm so happy for you. Tell me everything about this new person that you've met. It's wonderful, because it means it's coming for you next.
I love, love, love how you reframe that, or how you describe that, because that would have been such a game changer for me at the time. And I wouldn't have wallowed in it, because it's almost like when you get into that bridging period and you don't necessarily take the signs that it's coming to you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be woo, but it's like I tell people too, it's like if you are decide that you want a green Tesla,
Yep.
all of a sudden you start noticing them everywhere. And it's not because all of a sudden there's more green Teslas necessarily. It's just you're kind of wiring your mind in a way to notice those things. And so that's exactly it. But if you're, seeing those Teslas and you're saying, oh shit, like I'll never be able to afford it, it's almost like you're turning around on that bridge and walking yourself back.
Yes.
So, or jumping off the bridge. So
yes.
I love how you just frame that, because at the time that also would have saved me a lot of sadness, especially during the pandemic, where it was so easy to sit, especially when, like for me, I was alone. And when I didn't have my kids, it just went from super crazy busy to having nobody and super quiet. And like you said, at that time I wasn't really into coaching, but I was like, I always was into education and whatnot, but still we had a ton of time on our hands. And so looking at other people thinking, oh, all these families, they're all together now and I'm alone, and just it was like that pit of despair, and not necessarily saying it out loud, but it was always in my mind thinking like, oh, that would be nice to have what they have and whatnot. And so had I started thinking to myself exactly how you explained it, was that I'm seeing all of this because it's available, it's all around me, it would have made such a difference. So I appreciate you bringing this up, because I'm positive this is going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. And I love you're speaking my language with the green Tesla, because I actually give the example. I always give the example of the yellow car. I don't actually put a brand to it, but what that actually is, just to explain to our viewers a little bit more, that's to do with our reticular activating system. So it's called your RAS. And because we live in such a busy world, and let's go back to energy for a moment here. Another thing I use in my training is human design. And that's basically your blueprint, your map of self, kind of like the energetics Myers-Briggs, if anyone's familiar with that personality test. So 70% of the population have an open head or an open crown chakra. And that means we're really great to market to. because we're open and we're looking for things to be filled. So we're walking to work and there's billboard advertising, and we're on Instagram and we're looking at what everybody else is wearing and the brands, and there's just constant marketing thrown at us all the time. Now, can you imagine if our head center was actually taking in all of that? We would all combust. So what the reticular activating system does is it actually filters out what is important. It keeps in what's important and filters out what isn't. So yellow cars or green Teslas are not important to either of us until we say,
I want one.
I want one. And then the Raz goes, ooh, open for business. And then suddenly you're seeing green Teslas, yellow cars everywhere. Hopefully we see both now. That would be a real miracle today, wouldn't it?
Yeah, lemon lime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lemon lime, add some bitters and vodka.
Friday. Well, for you it's a Saturday, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go at any time. But yeah, no, I love that example too, because as soon as we consciously say, like, you know, I want a healthy, happy relationship, subconsciously, even if you don't consciously say it to yourself, you're desiring that. All you're going to see is people in healthy, happy relationships. It's up to you whether it triggers you or not. I can also get really jealous of the guy driving around in the green Tesla and think that's never possible. That's never going to be possible for me. But who says? He made it happen. Why can't I?
Yeah. Well, it will be impossible if you tell yourself it's impossible.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Holly, I really, really appreciate all of your insights and all of your time. And I just wanted to ask as well, if anybody wanted to find you and see a little bit more of your work, where can they find you? Where's the best place?
My favorite place to hang out is Instagram. So you can find me on there. And I start by saying my handle is _Holly Hayes, but we'll put it in the body of this anyway. So you'll be able to find me. And yeah, I think that's it for now.
Perfect.
And thank you, Valerie, for hosting this. And I hope we can connect again. I would really like to, if people want to know more about dealing with a narcissist, I would like to do a full talk on that if that's something that comes up.
Oh, I'm sure it will, because there's a lot of material that can be covered on that.
There's a lot of material. Yeah, I could definitely make people feel a lot better about their current circumstances, no doubt. Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Holly, and thank you everybody for tuning in and watching our chat. And yeah, till next time.
Yeah, until next time. Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.